What is up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. So today it's just going to be me because I'm going to be explaining why I chose to exclusively pump. A lot of people have been asking me this question, so I decided I'll just do a full video on it, and in that video I'll tell you guys my recommendations and then also tell you guys how I do the pitcher method. Exclusively pumping is when the baby is fed breast milk, but it is coming from a bottle rather than from the breast. I have been exclusively pumping now for about 3 months. It has been a long journey, but it's what works for me and my lifestyle. That's what I've chosen to do, and I'm going to explain to you guys why right now. I do need to give a trigger warning. I am going to be talking about oversupply. I am considered an oversupplier, so if that is something that you don't want to hear about, if it might put you in a negative headspace, I wouldn't watch this video, especially when I get to the pitcher method part, because there is going to be a lot of milk. I know that that can be somewhat upsetting for some people. Warning right now, there is going to be an oversupply mentioned and milk is going to be shown. First reason why I decided to exclusively pump is because I do have an oversupply, so I get engorged pretty easily, and Luna is obviously not going to be able to drink all of that milk and empty me out, so I have to pump regardless. So if I were to breastfeed her, I would have to pump right after breastfeeding to be able to empty out everything that I have in my boobs. I decided to just skip that whole breastfeeding part and minimize my time and start pumping from the get-go and just get all the milk out in the 30-minute span or 45-minute span. Then we just give her a bottle whenever she needs it. I also really like pumping because I know exactly how much milk she's getting. Whenever she is on the boob, you can't gauge that, you know? So I at least know, okay, she got 3 ounces at this time. Okay, she got 2.5 ounces at this time. I can see her trends on, okay, she's not eating as much today, or oh my gosh, she's eating a whole bunch. She must be going through a growth spurt. Because I do have an oversupply, I do get engorged quite often, so it's really hard for her to latch on, which it hurts me, and then also I feel bad for her because I'm having to readjust her and like get a new latch for her, and she's just like, I'm hungry, and it's a big ordeal. So I just decided to cut that part out and we went to bottles, and she's taken a bottle really easily. She actually doesn't have nipple confusion too much because I have had to pop her on really quick if our bottles weren't ready, or when we were at the doctor and she had to get shots, I had to pop her on really quick to like soothe her, and she did pretty okay with that, but it also is just really hard for her to latch and it's hurtful for me. I do miss the closeness that you get with breastfeeding. I mean, I loved that feeling. For some women, they don't. That is another reason why some people do choose to exclusively pump, is because of the sensation that happens, or the letdowns are really hard when a baby is getting milk out. It can be uncomfortable for some people, and like for me, it hurt. Again, because of my oversupply, I am able to stock up with a freezer stash, which is nice because eventually I'll be able to not have to pump anymore. I'll be able to stop earlier rather than breastfeeding for an entire year. I'll be able to stop earlier and still get her to a year on breast milk, so I'm super excited about that. That's not the case for everyone. Some people are considered just enougers, where they make just enough milk to provide for their baby, or they are undersuppliers, where they make the milk and then they have to supplement half like formula. And lastly, I decided to do this because I wanted Stephen and my family members to be able to feed her, because feeding a baby is super awesome, and I also wanted Stephen to be able to help out and feel like he had a part in feeding her. It wasn't just constantly me having to go into the other room and nurse, which I guess I could nurse out in the living room like if people were over and stuff, but I'm kind of weird. I know it's natural and whatever, but for me, I feel like I would want to go into the other room and go feed her. And with pumping, I know my schedule, so I can just go around it and know like, okay, people are going to be coming over at 3 o'clock, so I need to pump at 2:15, so I'll be done before 3 o'clock. And then that way, when we have company over, I don't have to leave and go pump. But if I was breastfeeding, it's kind of on her own terms, so she might be hungry and I might be like, okay, I have to go. I will say pumping is extremely hard. It is super challenging, so it is not for the weak. One of the downfalls to exclusively pumping is that it takes a lot of time. So with pumping, you're not just washing bottles, you're washing bottles and pump parts. So it takes a little extra time for that, but I have recently got a new gadget that I'm super excited about that I will share with you guys here in a second. Also, I'm gonna have a Amazon storefront link down below that's gonna have all my pumping essentials on there for the pitcher method and just for pumping in general. So I will have a link down there if you are deciding on doing this. You're not just cleaning bottles if you were just formula feeding. You're also cleaning pump parts and mason jars if you are doing the pitcher method, and it is very time consuming. You also have to have a strict schedule so you don't lose your supply. So it is a lot of like around the clock. You have to pump every 3 hours or every 4 hours. Some people it's every 2 hours. So it is very time consuming to keep that supply up, because if you skip a pump, you could be telling your body like, oh, we don't need that, so we're gonna try to cut out and not produce milk at that time. I hope that makes sense. So it is a very strict schedule that you have to be on. I'm personally pumping every 4 hours at this point because it stressed me out doing every 3 hours. I got to cut some out and I'm still okay with where I am with my supply, but apparently you regulate at 3 months, so hopefully it stays up. But another challenge is that middle of the night pump. Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. I have to wake up at around 1 or 2 depending on when my last pump was before I went to sleep. That one sucks, and then I also have to do one at 5 or 6, and I hate having to wake up to do it because I have to be awake the entire time, and sometimes it takes 45 minutes to fully empty me. I'm awake for 45 minutes. That does suck. Eventually I will be able to cut that out, but right now I can't because I am trying to keep my supply regulated where it's at. With talking about it taking a lot of time, if you're pumping 8 times a day, say 30 minutes at a time, that's 4 hours out of your day that you spent pumping. So again, it is very time consuming, and not to mention you're having to bag that milk if you do have leftover milk. So that's another thing at night that you have to do. And honestly, it kind of costs more money than breastfeeding. I mean, it definitely does, because you have to buy the bottles, you have to buy the mason jars, you have to buy the bags, you have to buy the pump parts, and finding the right flange size, that took me forever, and I spent a lot of money unfortunately on that. Some people are like, yeah, I'm pumping to save money so I don't have to buy formula, but honestly I feel like I'm spending just about the same amount of money, especially on like the pumps and everything. Like I said, I like doing it because I'm able to see how much milk she's getting. Stephen and my family members are able to help, and it was hard for her to latch, so those are my main reasons why. It might be different for you guys. If you are exclusively pumping, maybe comment down below so other people can see maybe reasons why it might be a good fit for them. I am home basically all day, so it's nice for me. I know some people who have to go back to work and stuff. I mean, obviously they're gonna have to pump at work. They can't bring the baby to breastfeed. Now I'm gonna be talking about the pumps that I have and the accessory type extras that I have to make a successful exclusively pumping journey. Okay, so my main pump that I use is my Spectra S1, and this is the one that has the rechargeable battery. There's an S2, it's the pink one that you have to be plugged into the wall, but what's nice about this one is I can move around with it if I need to. It looks like this. Here are the bottles and the flanges that it comes with. The flanges, they come with the standard sizes right here. I'm not exactly sure what they are. I'll put them right here, but most pumps come with those. Not everybody are those sizes, so you're gonna have to find the right flange size. You might need to get a lactation consultant, or there are little guides online that you can like measure your nipple size and then figure out what flange works for you. That was a journey for me. It took me a long time. I was buying like a bunch of different ones and trying them to see. I have what's called elastic nipples. You can look it up if you need to. It might be something that you're struggling with right now. I did have to buy these other type of phalanges. I did not grab them. I should have grabbed them. Hang on, I'm gonna go get them really quick. So these are called the Pumping Pals. They are silicone rather than the hard plastic like this. And I haven't been using these because I'm not good at putting them on. Get it to suction on basically. Some people don't respond well to certain pumps, so you might have to try several different ones. Also check with your insurance to see what they cover and how much of the pump that they'll cover. I think I had to pay like $25 for my Spectra because my insurance covered the rest of it. So that was super nice. I, in the middle of the night, use my Avent bottles that go up to 9 ounces because those middle of the night pumps, you get more milk. So I have to do that, or else I would have to be like dumping this and then redoing it and getting the rest out. There are several different types of pumps. There's not just the Spectra. There's so many brands out there. I would join a Facebook page. I'm on one called Exclusively Pumping. There's a lot of great advice and tips on that Facebook page. I really enjoy it, so I would definitely check that out. The next pump that I have is a wearable one, and it is my Willow 3.0. I love this thing. It is awesome. I do wish I would have got the container version of it. Right now, all I have is the bag version. I just haven't gone and bought the container. I feel like I would use it a lot more if I had that, because right now I'm having to use the bags, and I just feel kind of wasteful with that. Because I am doing the pitcher method, I'm not just automatically freezing it after I use it. I did have to buy the little extra inserts that go in right here, and I mean, it's a really nice pump. What I like about this is that it connects to your phone and actually tells you how much you're pumping and how long you've been pumping for. They also have a Willow Go that I see a lot of people talking great things about, but this is just the one that I've tried and I like it. These are pretty pricey. So this is $550. I would check to see if maybe your insurance can cover it too, but the Willow Go is $350. This is one of my go-to wearable pumps. But if you're looking for a alternative that's cheaper, there are a bunch on there. I actually got this one for $17 because they were doing some 80% off sale, and then I added it to my baby registry and got an extra 15% off for my completion discount or whatever. So I got this for $17. It empties me pretty well. I do feel a little bit full, so I do have to manually express a little bit more, but I think for $17 this is amazing. I'll have a link to it down below. This is the Answer wearable pump. It is kind of sketchy though because it doesn't have the name on it, and it, like, the box just said wearable breast pump, like the brand wasn't anywhere, but it works as of right now. And honestly, if it breaks tomorrow, I'm not going to be upset about it because it was only $17. Those are the 3 pumps that I have as of right now. Who knows, I might try more. If you are pumping, let me know what your favorite is and why. I'm always looking into new things to try. And lastly, I'm going to talk about some accessories that I use to have a successful journey. First thing that I have recently been doing is coconut oil. This has helped so much. There's a bunch of different oils too if coconut oil isn't going to work for you, but make sure that it is safe for a baby and to be using. But coconut oil has been working for me. It's been great. It has helped with the friction of my nipple going into the tube. So what I do is I just put some coconut oil on the tube and then also on my nipple as well, and it has helped so much. I highly recommend using coconut oil or some other type of oil that is safe. I leak a bunch, so I have a bunch of these reusable leak pads. I was using the Lancino disposable ones, but I just felt like there was like trash everywhere. So I got some of these. I like them. They work fairly well, I guess. There's so many different brands that you can look into. I'll list these down below. They're the only ones I've tried, so I don't really have an opinion on all the rest of them. Another thing that I use is this Lancino nipple cream. This is great for breastfeeding as well, but this helps a lot by making them not hurt as bad. And lastly, I have these Silverettes. These are awesome for breastfeeding too, but It's made out of like silver. I have no idea. Something in this is magical, and they help so much with healing. If you are planning on breastfeeding or pumping, I would definitely put these on your registry. I think they're like $50, so they're kind of expensive, but luckily my mom bought them for me. I would definitely recommend these for either journey that you're choosing to do. For some reason, they're magical. I don't know. They friggin' work. That is all that I have for this section of the video, so I hope that was kind of informative, and now we're going to be getting into the picture method. I am on our vlog camera right now because I just figured it would be a lot easier. I'm in the kitchen, so I'm going to be showing you guys some of the extra stuff that I have to do whenever I do the picture method. This is the milk that I got from yesterday, so I'm gonna have to bag this up after we make our bottles of today with it. So I expressed this yesterday, so I'm going to be filling up the rest of the bottles with it, and then whatever I have left in this pitcher, I am going to be freezing that to add to my freezer stash. This is the milk that I got at my 5 a.m. pump, and I put it in a separate mason jar because I'm gonna add it to this jar, which is what I am collecting for today. This right here is amazing. I'm gonna have it listed. I'll have the whole setup listed. It is an awesome pour. It's great for pouring into the bottles. Love the little pouring spout. I actually just ordered a second one so that I can put it on here, because what I have been doing is whenever I'm done with this, I'll move this over to this jar. I always put the milk that I just expressed into a separate jar so that it can get up to the temperature of this milk, because that's what the CDC recommends. I don't know. Some people don't do that. They just mix different temperatures of milk, but I don't know. I'm making it harder on myself and more things to clean. That's basically what I do. Another thing that is just amazing is a bottle sterilizer and dryer. I love this one. I got it on Facebook Marketplace for half off of the original price, but there's so many different drying and sterilizer options out there, but this is just one I found on Facebook and it works amazing. It has made this journey a lot better because I don't feel like I'm sitting there drying bottles and pump parts constantly. I just throw it in there, wait 45 minutes, and then it's ready for my next pump session. This is a peanut butter spoon. I use it to get the fat off the side of the mason jar because it does separate. I use that to like spoon the side off, and it works amazingly. I have a bunch of 16-ounce mason jars as well. I will use sometimes, but I had to use that 32-ounce one because I got over 16 ounces at my morning pump. The bags that I have been using to freeze my milk is the Medela bags. I was using the Lancino ones. These Medela ones are a lot sturdier. I feel like they're thicker, so I like doing that, and I freeze my milk in increments of 5 ounces. It's just easier for me to be able to be like, okay, I froze 30 ounces last night, or I froze 25 ounces or 40, whatever. It's just easier rather than doing it in 4s or 6s. This is the setup that I have. I have a deep freezer outside, but this is what I do before I move it to the freezer. I need to get another set of cookie pans, but to help them freeze flat, I just put them underneath here and they freeze really flat so that I can fit a bunch in a big Ziploc baggie. Here's an example. So this is called a brick, and when you freeze them flat, you get to fit more in a bag. So this is called a brick, and this is what will go out in the deep freezer. I just haven't moved it out there yet. I'm actually gonna have to buy a new deep freezer. I did not know how much milk would fit, and so I got like a smaller one. Here, I'll show you my freezer. Luckily, I got it for my birthday from my parents, so thank you, Mom and Dad. I'm already filling this up. Like, it's pretty deep. I'm gonna have to go through all this and reorganize and also get a new freezer because I'm already almost filled this up. I hope I answered everything. I'm sure I'm gonna be watching back and be like, dang, I should have talked about this. But as of right now, that's everything that I can think of. I don't know if I explained the pitcher method very well. Basically, you just compile all the milk from the day of pumping, and then you use that to make the bottles for the next day, and then freeze what you have left over. At least that's what I do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was somewhat informative for you, and that is why I exclusively pump. It's been a journey. It's very hard. It's not for the weak, that's for sure. There are times where I basically want to cry when I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go pump again. But luckily the coconut oil has been helping with that, so I don't completely dread it at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a like, make sure to subscribe down below and hit that bell to get notified every single time that we post a new video. And we hope you guys are having a great day or night whenever watching this. I hope to see you guys in our next video. Bye guys!